Hello everyone. My name is Strange, and I believe that people should know the truth. The United States of America is considered the center of gravity for aliens of all kinds. I receive new information from my sources every day about UFO eyewitnesses and their contacts with aliens. The year 2024 was the year when cases of contacts with extraterrestrial civilizations in American educational institutions became more frequent. I have started my investigation of this strange phenomenon and have already received the first results. Under the guarantee of complete confidentiality, I was told the terrible story of an employee of a college. All names, as well as the place of the event, have been changed. Here is his story. Before this day, I had never stayed to work the night shift. I had to stay the night tonight. My colleague got sick and needed money all the more. I walked through all the corridors, checking the college for students. Everything was empty. Illuminating the offices with a hand lantern, I moved on. After going through all the corners of the building, I finally made sure that it was possible to return to the room for the guard. Sitting down in my desk chair, I examined the video from the surveillance cameras with my eyes. Everywhere was empty. Relaxing, I closed my eyes and, leaned back in my chair, lay down. Today was a very difficult day. The only thing I wanted right now was to sleep, but I will be fired immediately. Someone will find out that I slept on duty. Suddenly the phone rang. I jumped up and reached for my cell phone. Hello? A child's thin voice was immediately heard.
Hello, Dad. When are you coming back?
Hi, honey. I'm staying at work today. Go to bed. I heard my daughter sigh in exasperation.
Well, okay, fine. Good night.
The call ended. It was my 6-year-old daughter, Amanda. My wife and I worked long hours to feed our family and ensure a prosperous childhood for our daughter. That's why I was here, but at night, alone in a huge empty college. Thinking about my own, I noticed out of the corner of my eye when suddenly some movement appeared on one of the screens. Turning to the screen, I glared at it, trying to see if there was anything there. It seemed to me. I lay back down in the chair, but I still had a strange feeling. It seemed like something was really there. I couldn't take my eyes off the surveillance screens. David! I jumped up screaming from my seat. My heart was pounding in my chest from fright. No one has ever scared me so much. I turned around. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got my purse. It was one of the teachers. How stupid. A 30-year-old man was afraid of just an ordinary teacher. The woman quickly took one of the keys and walked briskly to the right office. I saw through the cameras how she opened the door to one of the classrooms and came out with a bag. Less than 5 minutes later, she returned. I'm sorry again, she said guiltily, putting the key back in its place. Goodbye. The teacher left, leaving me alone with my thoughts again. We need to close the front door so that no one else comes. I lazily went to the front door of the college and locked it. Well, that's it now. Now I'm definitely alone. I walked slowly along the dark corridor, my path illuminated only by my flashlight. But suddenly, in an instant, the same flashlight went out. Damn it. Now I was in total darkness. Relying only on my memory, I walked further in the building. Suddenly, a strange, slimy sound suddenly rang out somewhere. Who's here? I asked, thinking it was still that teacher. I felt my way along the wall, and finding the switch, turned on the light. Turning around 360 degrees, no one was detected. Is it really my imagination running wild? There was a strange growling sound. Turning around, I started looking for the source of the sound. Suddenly, a dark silhouette came around the corner. Thin, tall, and making strange, incomprehensible noises. Who are you? I screamed in fright, retreating away from the monster. This monster came out into the light, and I was able to get a better look at it. The long, disproportionate torso, painted a dead green, was decorated with a huge egg-shaped head, and on it, there were more eyes that looked straight into the soul. My breath caught in my throat from the fear that paralyzed my body. This alien was approaching me, and I just stood there scared. My legs buckled, and were about to give way so that I would fall to my knees. I tried to breathe, but it was as if the breathing tubes were blocked. Everything was spinning, and my brain couldn't think of anything. But the monster was getting closer and closer. And when there were a few meters between us, the blood rushed to my head. I rushed forward with all my strength, no matter where I looked. I've never run as fast in my life as I do now. I could hear the alien running after me, and he was not far behind me at all. It scared the hell out of me. Sooner or later, they'll catch up with me. But I kept running for all I was worth. Turning the corner, I'd brake at the sight of exactly the same monster. Damn it! Eck! I ran the other way. It turns out there were two of them. Now my chances of salvation were getting even smaller. Oh no! I hissed when I saw the vague silhouette of another creature ahead. They surrounded me. I don't even have anywhere to run anymore. There was another terrible growl behind me. I turned around. What did he? These aliens were coming at me from all sides. I had nowhere to run. Who are you? I shouted at the top of my voice. All three creatures stopped. The vile slime slid from their bodies to the floor, emitting a vile, cadaverous smell. They stood like that for a few seconds. They were just silent. And then one of them spoke.
It's our word to find David the college guard.
What nonsense! Did these strange creatures come after me because someone told them to find David's guard? My lips trembled, and I began to look for a free path in fright. There were aliens on all sides. My God, I can't escape, I immediately thought. Suddenly, I noticed a little empty space next to one of the monsters. If you try hard, run very fast. You can skid next to them and run away. But why me? The talking alien thought for a moment, and then answered in a metallic voice.
There shouldn't be a security guard in this college. This is our building.
Not quite understanding what he meant, I took a deep breath of air. And at the same moment, he rushed forward. It took a few more seconds for the aliens to realize what was happening. I jumped next to one of them and ran to the main exit. My legs were shaking and my breathing was short, but I kept running. I could hear the aliens running after me, not lagging behind at all. I tried not to look back and just ran. When I got to the front door, I started looking for the keys in a hurry. No, I dropped them. When I found that I didn't have the keys, I turned around. They were running towards me. Without hesitation, I turned onto the right and ran in that direction. My eyes could barely see through this veil of darkness. Suddenly, I came across a door that was not locked, and I ran inside. It turned out to be a storeroom for the cleaners. Floor cloths, buckets, mops, and everything else that might be needed for cleaning were usually stored here. Trying to catch my breath and stop my knees from shaking, I pressed my hand to my mouth. It was impossible to make the slightest sound. After all, if they find me, I do not know what will happen in this case. They will do something very bad to me. Damn, why didn't I take the phone with me? I regretted in my mind. If I had a phone with me now, I would at least be able to call the police, or at least I wrote to my wife and daughter. There was a twinge of pain in my heart. My family is waiting for me. I can't let them down like that. I can't be caught, at least for their sake. I have to survive. Footsteps sounded outside the door. They were very close. But fortunately for me, the aliens did not notice me and ran on. I finally exhaled to try to relax. Now I had a goal. I had to get into the guard's room and get my phone from there. I had to save myself in any way. Slowly opening the door, I looked around. They weren't there. Then I went out into the hallway and slowly tiptoed forward. Having imagined an approximate path in my head, I moved on as quickly and silently as possible. Trying not to make the slightest squeak, I turned left. Now all I had to do was walk a few meters and there would already be a guard's room. I also made my way inside the room very quietly. I was very surprised that everything worked out for me. Once inside, I immediately locked the door so that no one could get inside. Grabbing my cell phone, I turned it on. There was only 10% of the charge left, so I dialed my wife's number as soon as possible. There were beeps. In my heart, I prayed that she would answer. She's probably asleep right now, but I kept hoping for an answer anyway. Hello? A sleepy voice rang out. Susie, I whispered into the phone. David, why are you calling at such a late hour? Tears welled up in her eyes. What if this is the last time I talk to her? The horror took my breath away. Susie, call the police. I need help. I continued in the same whisper. Now his wife's voice became frightened and agitated. David, what happened? Call the police. Remember that I love you and Amanda. Distant footsteps sounded outside the door. I can't talk anymore. I'm sorry. The call ended. I took a closer look at the video surveillance screens. One of the monsters was in the right wing, and the second one was near my room. The third one was at the 36th office. Now the only thing I could do was just sit silently and wait for help to arrive. I huddled in one of the corners and closed my eyes, trying not to think about the fact that there was a creature right outside my door trying to finish me off. Suddenly, there was a scratching of claws from behind the door. I prayed that they would leave, but on the contrary, new footsteps were heard. Standing up a little, I looked at the screen and realized that all three aliens were now at my door. Cowering in a corner, scared again, I tried to calm my breathing and heartbeat. I've never been so scared in my life as I am now. At one point, the door was abruptly knocked on and the handle was pulled. They tried to open it. Oh my God, I wish the police would come sooner, I thought. Their sharp claws scratched at the wooden door. I was afraid that the aliens would break down the door and break into the room. Their movements intensified. They were burying and began to pound harder on the door. I covered my face with my hands in fright, but I couldn't take my eyes off this terrifying sight. There was very little left. The door was already ready to succumb to their power and break. But right at that moment, shots were heard. Then the police arrived, and I was saved. After that day, I quit this job. I was haunted by terrible visions every day, and in my dreams, I saw their terrible faces. It seemed to me that I was being hunted. It seemed that I would definitely be caught. I didn't see any more aliens, but I could feel their dead souls next to me. If you think that this is not proof of the existence of aliens, then you are right. There is much more evidence, and on our channel, we will reveal all the secrets and evidence of their presence. Subscribe to the channel and send me your stories related to aliens by email. You will find contacts in the About the Channel section. If I haven't answered you, then I'm still checking on you, because the special services of all countries have announced a hunt for me. But together we will force the authorities of all countries to disclose all the information they have. After all, people should know the truth.